Okay, so I don't know how many people have been following my channel for a while, but if you have, you know that a couple of years ago I used to do lots of videos about how basically ridiculous conspiracy theories are. I still think they're massively, absolutely ridiculous. I don't think any of them have a single piece of merit to them at all, and that they are essentially the modern version of fairy tales. For people who basically have no control of their lives and want some form of control in a world where they have no control over mass events. And that's, from a psychology paper on conspiracy theories, and I think that's exactly right. So, I did a video I did 2 or 3 videos about Mark Dice, and about a book in particular he shows as a cornerstone that, the Illuminati has existed for hundreds of years, and I think it's called, Proof of Conspiracy, that was written about basically a guy who lived back in the 17th century and said that in Bavaria there's an Illuminati cell and they are planning to take over, and I am writing to you, the UK Secretary of Defence, a position that did not exist, and he names a person who at that point, at the time of writing, had been dead for 60 years. Not only that, the book contains many historical historical writing inaccuracies. There are several times in the book and throughout the book where the writing is far too modern. In fact, the writer even uses the American spelling of colour several times. Again, that did not exist, that way of spelling the word colour. So, again, the book is a massive piece of fabrication. It is in fact wholly and entirely a point to basically attack Jews. I'm sorry, but that's the truth. And I've had a guy basically comment on, and I'm very fascinated by what he said at the end of his comment, and he goes, "This video is nothing more than an attempt to shoot down ideas on little more than the fact that they're conspiracy theories." Yes, they are conspiracy theories. Theories being the main word, in fact the key word here. Because what is a theory? It is a conspiracy theory. I think something is happening that is a theory. No conspiracy theory has, sorry, be careful how I say that. No conspiracy theory in recent times have ever been proven. Now, there are lots of conspiracies that have been proven. I'll add that caveat, like the Tsarnaev letters. I can never think of the one other than the Tsarnaev letters when it comes to mentioning these, but yeah, there are lots of conspiracies that have been proven, and hence I am not using the word conspiracy theories. They are conspiracies because they have been proven that they actually existed, and that there is evidence of what happened to prove that this conspiracy happened. And again, I feel like I've just talked myself around in circles now, because that's even confused me. But this is what it gets when you actually talk to these people. It's nothing but absolute confusion. He says that conspiracy theories might be in a minority, and you are in a minority because they have never proven their point at all. They have never even proven that the 9/11 happened, 7/7. JFK, you name any modern conspiracy theory, they'll tout all the theories they have. You'll find that there are several that even contradict other theories, because that's what they're like. They like to argue with each other about their numerous theories. To put it bluntly, if you've ever seen two geeks argue over comic books, this is what it is like in that type of circles. I've been on the forums, I've seen them arguing. That's what it is like to an outsider. And yes, you are a minority in the society because you haven't even proved anything of your theories. But I'm afraid that we've been mocked and isolated enough to know that yes, you are mocked for a good reason. Your ideas, theories are absolute nonsense. And you deserve to be mocked for them. Because a lot of your theories are quite incredibly dangerous. As I have pointed out numerous times, the entire Nazi plan to exterminate Jews came from conspiracy theories. Al-Qaeda have used the 9/11 conspiracy theory. Even ISIS use the 9/11 conspiracy theory as tools to promote their cause and for recruitment. Your theories are incredibly dangerous. So we've been mocked and isolated enough to know that the majority of arguments we hear against our assertions, and they are assertions because, again, you can't bring any proof. Again, the guy says that above he talks about a bit about the book and how about he's read it, and I'm just saying, well, if you've read it, you should know the writing style, the style used is far too modern. And again, as I've pointed out, you know, the author that the guy was writing to, he'd been dead for 60 years. In fact, he said in the opening paragraph that they'd met, and if that was the case, then the author clearly was a time traveller because he hadn't been born yet. It was just frankly impossible. So that's his assertion, and again, I mock you for a very good reason. And this is the fantastic part, because I've said before, conspiracy theories, you can lead them to water, but you cannot make them drink, because this is his get out clause. He said that against all their arguments are nothing more than cognitive dissonance fueled ignorance. No, absolutely wrong. Conspiracy theorists have to build up their own warped view of the world. And I'm going to have, as it normally comes up to me, someone always says, well, the world isn't as black and white as you make it out to be. Yes, we all know that. Thank you very much for pointing it out. The problem is people have called me childish for saying you think the world is all black and white and not, you know, shades of grey. The problem is when you look into these people's arguments, it comes down to we're the good guys fighting for what is right to get out this, you know, vital information against the evil, you know, Illuminati, NWO, take your pick and flavour, whatever. Except they've never proven, if you had evidence to prove that your stuff existed and it was real, people would be writing about them. They'd be in national news. No, conspiracy theorists have never proven that once their theories have ever existed, and I'm sorry, you know, arguments against your conspiracy theory and debunking your theories are not based on ignorance. They are based on facts. Facts that just prove that your worldview is completely wrong. There is no Illuminati. There is no secret government conspiracy to take over the world. And I am absolutely tired of this nonsense that these people spouted. When I first started my channel, I talked nothing about 2 years about how these theories and nonsense were absolutely nonsense, and I got tired of talking about them. That's why I moved on. And again, it's the same thing with, you know, pointing out the alternative therapy movement. They're all based on, you know, the ridiculous big pharma conspiracy theory. Again, that is nonsense, because there is far too much facts and evidence that disprove it. You know, I'm getting tired of saying that now as well. Because there's only so much you can say that says, I'm sorry, you know, if your theory was right, that, you know, your, you know, alternative treatment strengthened the immune system, then how come everything we know about, you know, cancer completely disproves your theory? There's only so many times, you know, you can say, no, it doesn't work. And, you know, I've had a theory asking for, you know, not a theory, a video up for three, nearly 4 years now, of asking people who support the Gerson therapy to provide me with evidence that their theory worked. I had the same thing when I was doing, you know, conspiracy theories, and again, I heard lots of stuff. I even went on a radio show, and again, that is still to this day one of the most bizarre experiences I've ever. When you've got someone when you're asking someone for evidence and they're refusing to give it to you. But oh, yeah. So conspiracy theorists, they're still wrong, and they've still got the most warped view of evidence. I replied to this guy, and I might do another video when he replies back, because I'm sure he will, because these people always have to have the last word in things.